हेलो एवरीवन। इस वीडियो में हम इंग्लिश की फर्स्ट राइट बुक का चैप्टर 1 रीड करेंगे जिसका नाम है अ लेटर टू गॉड और जिसके पोइट का नाम है द जीएल फ्लुएंटिस। तो चलिए शुरू करते हैं। The house, the only one in the entire valley, sat on the crest of a low hill. From his height, one could see the river and the field of ripcorn dotted with the flower that always promised a God harvest. The only thing the earth needed was a downpour, or at least a shower. Through, Throughout the morning, Lancho, who knew his field intimately, had done nothing else but see the sky towards the northeast. Now we are really going to get some water, woman. The woman who was preparing suppers repeated yes, good feeling. The, the older one, the older boys were working in the field, while the smaller ones were playing near the house until the woman called to them all, come for dinner. It was during the meal that just as Lancho had predicted, big drops of rain began to fall in the northeast. Hug mountains of clouds could be seen approaching. The air was fresh and sweet. The man went out for no other reason than to have the pleasure of feeling the rain on his body. And when he returned, he exclaimed, "These are not raindrops falling from the sky. They were new coins. The big drops are 10-cent pieces and the little one 5." With the satisfied expression, he regarded the field of ripcorn with its flower, wrapped in a curtain of rain. But suddenly a strong wind began to blow, and along with the rain, very large hailstones began to fall. These truly did resemble new silver coins. The boy, exposing themselves to the rain, ran out to ran out to collect the frozen balls. "It's really getting bad now," exclaimed the man. "I hope it passes quickly." I did not pass quickly. For an hour, the hail rained on the house, the garden, of the hillside, the cornfield, on the whole valley. The, the field was white, as if covered with salt. Not a leaf remained on the trees. The corn was totally destroyed. The flowers were gone from the plants. Lencho's soul was filled with sadness. When the storm had passed, he stood in the middle of the field and said to his sons, "A plague of liquors would have felt more than this. The hail has left nothing this year. We will have no corn." The night was a sorrowful one. All our work for nothing. There's no one who can help us. We will all go hungry this year. But in the hearts of all who lived in the solitary house in the middle of the valley, there was a single hope: help from God. Do not be so upset, even though he seems like a total loss. Remember, no one dies for hunger. That's what they say. No one dies for hunger. Although the mind, Lancho thought only of him. Lancho thought only of his one hope, the help of God, whose eyes, as he had been interested, see everything, even what is deep in one's conscience. Lancho was on oath of a man working like an animal in the field, but still he knew how to write. The following Sunday at daybreak, he began to write a letter which he himself would carry to town and place in the mail. It was nothing less than a letter to God. "God," he wrote, "if you don't help me, my family and I will go hungry this year. I needed 100 pesos in order to sow my field again and to live until the come, crop comes because the hailstorm." He wrote to God on the envelope, put the letter inside, and still troubled, went to town. At the post office, he placed a stamp on the letter and dropped into the mailbox. One of the employees who was a postman and also helped the post office went to his boss, laughing heartily, and showed him the letter to God. Never in his career as postman had he known that address. The postmaster, a fat and able fellow, also broke out laughing, but almost immediately he turned serious and tapping the letter on his desk, commented, com- commented, "What faith! I wish I had the faith of the man who wrote this letter, starting up a correspondence with God." So, in order not to shake the writer's faith in God, the postmaster came up with an idea: answer the letter. But when he opened it, it was evident that to answer in he needed something more than God inked the paper, but he stuck to his resolution. He asked for money from his employees. He will give part of his salary and serve friends on his word, obliged to give something for an act of charity. It was impossible for him to gather the 100 pesos, so he was able to send the farmer only the little more than half. He put the money in an envelope addressed to Rancho and with a letter containing only a single word as a signature: God. The following Sunday, Rancho came a bit earlier than usually to ask if there was a letter for him. It was the postman himself who handed the letter to him, while the postmaster expressions the contentment of a man who was performed a good deed logged on from his office. Rancho showed not a sli- slightest surprise on seeing the money. Such was his confidence, but he became angry when he counted the money. God could not have made a mistake, nor could he have denied Lancho what he had requested. Immediately, Lancho went up to the window, asked for the paper and ink. On the public writing table, he started to write, with much wrinkling on his brow, caused by the effort he had to make to express his ideas. When he finished, he went to the window to buy a stamp which he licked and then affixed to the envelope with a bolo of his first. The moment the letter fell into the mailbox, the postmaster went to open it. It said, "God of the money that I asked for, only 70 pesos. Please send me the rest since I need it very much. But don't send it to me through the mail because the post office employees are a bunch of crooks." Thank you. Thank you.